And we're back. So what we're going to do today, we already shot a couple of videos. We're going to go through chainsaw milling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 56-inch bar here, 48-inch mill. And what we're going to do first is we're going to show you how to set up on the log. This log is a monster. If you're not into chainsaw milling and this doesn't interest you, you have one of two choices. Either you can fast forward to see the cutting. My goal this afternoon, since it's getting late, is just to get the top knocked off it. Or you can sign off now. If you want to learn about chainsaw milling, and I don't think that you can be a sawyer if you don't know how to run a chainsaw. I just don't think so. I mean, if all you do is run a sawmill, I just don't think you can be a real sawyer. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry. My name is Bill, and I'm going to show you what we got going on here. And then we're going to set up the mill. We're going to make a cut. So I'm going to show you the right way to do it. Now, we have here a very large log, almost 48 across. I've trimmed it down the other end, so I have like right around 46. That's my normal milling ladder, but it had a little bit of a ding in it, and rather than try to get it out, I just grabbed one of my fiberglass ladders. It's a 2-stage ladder. I actually had to run a groove right there so that would stick down in there, not stick above. But it's setting on here right now. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you a simple way to mount it. And what we do mounting it is I'll show you everything you need. This is everything you need to mount a ladder on a log to mill a job. You need like a T25 Torx bit. I also use Phillips head, some big T25 screws, and it doesn't matter if they have flatheads. I just like those because they will come out easier holding these end brackets in some hard woods like white oak. Some small Phillips screws, somewhere around inch and a quarter, to hold these little pipe brackets down on a log. You see I have them just kind of laid out there. Then we're going to take a measurement from this high spot here so that my first cut at least cuts into about here. It's going to be somewhere around 8-10 inches deep. But I'm going to show you what you need to do first. So also you need winding sticks if you want to do it right. If you don't care about getting perfect slabs, and you don't need winding sticks, but I'm going to show you how to do them anyway. So the first thing we're going to do, I'll back you up. I'm going to try to give you an overview here. If I think there's something important, I'll zoom you in. I'll bring you in. First thing I'm going to do is grab my impact gun, and really, if you have your choice between an impact gun and a screw gun, I would suggest an impact gun, just because if you're trying to get these out of hard oaks, they will not, sometimes you won't be able to get them out and you'll break them. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mount this bracket down this end, and I'll show you that in a second. But basically I'm just going to slip it under the ladder so it's touching on both sides. This ladder sitting down. I'm going to zip in a screw to hold it in place. Pull the ladder down against the other side, and then we'll go down there, put some winding sticks on it. We're going to check the wind on it, and I'll show you how to take the wind out. And the wind is just the twist in the ladder. Now, in theory, this one shouldn't have any. That would be great if it didn't. Let's make sure that's right up against the ladder. Okay, I am going to have to take you over to my box. I got to get a different T25. This seems like it was a backup. So I'll show you what I have. What I keep in my chainsaw box here. This seems like it was a backup that was made just in case I didn't have anything better. I assume I have another one in here. Let's see, there's one right there. I don't know if that's good. This one's a different one. I'm going to try that one. This one was slipping a little bit. You don't want to strip them out. Now, it's not that big a deal in pine, but it is a big deal in like oaks. So, I don't know if that's good. It was in with the screws. It's probably my fault. So, let me get you over here. I'll show you what I'm doing. I know my back's going to be to you, so maybe to the side a little bit. I'm going to push this ladder down on top of the log so it's sitting on the log. We're going to pick this side up. Try to keep it against the ladder. Drive a screw in somewhere down here. Now, if you mill with a 2x4 like this, if you mill 6 inches deep, 6.5, that will clear this 2x4. It'll just clear it. This one's actually been nipped, so I could probably mill 6 inches deep with this one. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go down the other end and we're going to set one on the other end with screws in one side, and then we're going to do the winding sticks, and then we'll fasten it down with the brackets, and then we're ready to go. So let's go down here. And again, if this doesn't interest you, then you tuned into the wrong video. I'll also show you the importance of these little screws sticking up here. I'm going to use those too. I did cut a flat spot here and here for this board. I want this board to be sitting on the one down the other end. Set one down where I was going to put it in my mouth, but I won't be able to talk to you. So we're just going to make sure that it's sitting on the one on the other end. And that I have screw base. So I'm actually going to start a screw on this piece right here. Somewhere down in this corner, because that's where it's going to go through. These are pretty old pressure treated pieces. They've been used for a long time. So I'm going to get it under somewhere on the flat spot. Somewhere where that screw is going to line up, and we're going to drive that one home. And what that does is that gives us a base to deal with this ladder. Now I'm going to put one in here on this side just to hold this up. Just going to kind of make sure that it's sitting on the far side. I'm going to go ahead and just get one partially in here. It's probably going to have to be moved when I use the winding sticks, but okay. So now the ladder's not rocking, it's sitting nice and flat. These support the ladder ends where you come off the log and onto the log. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set up some winding sticks. Now the winding sticks, they don't have to be perfectly straight, just they have to be, when you put them down on something, the same. So they're nice and flat across the top. So I'll put one here. And I'll put one down the other end, and I'll show you what I'm looking for. These are meant to take twist out of the setup so that you don't introduce twist into your log or into your slabs. And this is a simple way, and if you think that you can just do this with a level, you can. This way you don't need a level. So I'm going to put this across the ladder on both sides, and I'm going to get down like this, let me make sure you can see me. And I'll take you in and show you what it looks like in a second. We get down like this, and I'm going to sight down these winding sticks, and I'm going to see how the top edge lines up to the top edge down there, and it's never perfect. All right, so that backside is high, and this backside is low. So that backside needs to come up, and it needs to come up about an inch. So what we're going to do is this cannot go down because it's resting on the log. This could come up. That would hurt. Right? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that would hurt. This could go down. So since I got that one started, I'm going to make my adjustment here because I need a little bit more bite on this anyway. And this can't. Oh, no, it can't. Nope, it's resting on the log. This is pretty much resting on the log. This can't go down. So that corner needs to come up. So what I need to do that first is I need to secure this end so it can't move. So I'm going to take a couple of these pipe brackets, change my bit. I'll let you stay there. You'll get the gist of it. Change my bit and get a couple of things down there to secure that end so when I pick this end up, it twists. And I'll show you what I'm talking about before I do it. I'll bring the screws down there so I can screw them down. And you want to screw these screws down, these brackets down wherever you are touching on the wood. You don't want to screw them down in a place where you're not touching or you'll deflect the ladder. So let me take you and get you down low, and you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. So if you look down this setup right now, and you see how that far end is going to disappear, you see how much is sticking up over there? So right now, this ladder is twisted. And if you mill it like this, and it looks nice and flat, but if you mill it like this, you are going to introduce twist into your slabs. I do not want to introduce twist into my slabs, so I am going to fix it. I know that corner needs to come up about an inch, so I'm going to secure this down here first. And I'm just going to bend my little brackets down. I'm going to see where it's hitting, like right here. Don't blow off. And I've chosen the size screw because I know that I can go 6 inches deep and not hit them, which is as deep as going below the 2x4 plus the ladder height. And then I'm going to find another spot where I'm hitting, like right here. I'm going to secure it down right here. The good thing about these pipe brackets is you can bend them into place. So you can screw one side down, and if the other side's up an inch, you can just kind of bend it down with your finger. And then we'll screw this side down. Okay, now the ladder is totally solid here. Can't move. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go down the far end. I am going to actually put one of these brackets in on that side to hold that side down, and then we're going to pick this side up a little bit and see if that takes some of the twist out. And then we're going to have to sight down it and make sure that we didn't put a bow in it, but we just want to make the ladder do this. So here's the ladder now. We want to make it do that just a little bit. So we're going to go down there and do that. Actually, I'll leave this one down here. I have one down here. So I'll look for where it's hitting, like right here. And we're going to secure it down here. Bend that down. Okay. Now we should be able to pick this side up without the rest of the ladder moving, which is our goal. And we want to get it up about an inch from what I was seeing. So we're going to just back this screw out. We're going to let it pivot around the one over there. We're going to pull it up about an inch and then we'll check it again. Okay, all right, there we go. We're going to check it now. I'm going to sight from here down towards you guys, and I'll show you at the end. Oh my God, I got lucky. I'm going to just sink this one. It's dead perfect. I'll show you on camera. It's dead perfect where it is right now. And I will show you guys that. Let me just sight from here really quick just to make sure that I'm not seeing some. It's dead perfect. Okay, I just got lucky that it happened the first time. So I'll show you guys as you sink down, the other side, that far edge is exactly disappearing perfectly on the top, on both sides exactly at the same time. There's nothing sticking up. It's perfectly flat right now. So that was step one. Now I'm going to keep my tripod from falling apart. I'm going to just put a couple more clamps on this thing, and then we're going to move over to setting up the mill. And we have to take a measurement here and see how deep we have to go. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to pause you. Okay, I'll show you one other little component, especially on big logs, is you want to put a screw in right here to keep the ladder from sliding over. The saw head will push on this, and even if you have it secured down with those clamps, the saw head can push it through them and make the ladder move, and sometimes it can fall off this during the cut. So you put a little screw in on the side, on the out feeds. I'm sorry, yeah, the outside. So I'm going to be standing on this side, milling this way towards the camera. So the saw head, when it comes up against the ladder, as it's pulling on the chain, it can move the ladder towards us. So put a little screw in right here up against the ladder so it can't move. I'll show you guys how solid this setup is. So right now, this setup, I can actually move the log. It's not going anywhere. It's totally rigid in place. Now you can, depending on the stiffness of your ladder, and this one's pretty stiff. If it was my aluminum ladder, I would put a shim under here, under this rung in the middle, because of this big gap. But because it's softwood and it's this solid ladder, I've only got about 5 feet from where it's hitting to where it's hitting. This isn't going to flex down. So this is going to be perfect. There's no twist in it. It's held down. We're ready to rock and roll. And it's only one cut worth. The other thing I have to find out is how deep I have to go. So I want to, because of that middle section right there, I want to cut, say, this deep right here. So I'm going to measure from there to the top. It's 8 inches. So my top cut, I want to make 8 inches deep. Normally, on a pretty straight log, this top cut's like 6.5, just to clear the 2x4s. This one I want to make 8. I'm going to double check it. Yeah, it's 8 inches to right here on the log, and that's going to give me a good flat spot to ride on the rest of the way. So we're going to set the mill up at 8 inches deep. And normally when I set the mill up, I use gauge blocks. Where am I going to get you guys here? Get you guys right here. I like to use gauge blocks to set the mill for my individual cuts. On a top cut like this, I'm just trying to make a flat cut, and it does not matter if it's not perfect on both sides. It doesn't matter at all. So I'm just going to run it out to 8 inches. It's going to make it easier if I do it now. And you should get a 1/2 inch drive with a ratcheting end. It's faster. This does have a scale on it. I'm going to put it up at, move it 2 8 inches and tighten it down. If I can see. So right now it's way down. I mean, it's way down at like 2. Loosen it up a little more. Okay, I'm just going to move it down to 8. 6, 7. There's 8 right there. And it does not matter if these are the same on both sides because this is just a top cut. Just going to tighten it down to hold it in place a little bit. Try and tighten them evenly. Once it's not going to slip, I can go ahead and set it down, and then we'll just crank these 2 down, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll put it up at 8. This is a Granberg 48-inch. A newer one. Well, they have newer ones with quick connects here, but this is the one that I use. It's got the machined aluminum uprights. And I'm going to put the other side at 8 inches. Just going to make it easier if I do it now. Oh, let's tighten. Okay. Find my scale. See if I can see it in the light. There's 5, 6, 7. There's 8. Get some light on it. It's one reason why I use gauge blocks from here out, is that I don't have to think, don't have to try to get it perfect. And the gauge blocks are just blocks that are made specific thicknesses so that I can just drop the mill down on top of the bar and get it to a specific thickness. Okay, since I don't trust my eyes, I'm just going to measure from the bottom here to the top and just make sure. Bye, hon. You taking Danny? Okay. So right now I am 8/16 to the bottom of the bracket. Just about the same on the other side. I just want to take a look at it, make sure it looks right. It's hard because it lights behind the mill. I'm a teeny bit low here, but that's going to be fine. Doesn't need to be perfect. Use shingles for wedges, and we're going to mount them. We're going to mount the saw. The saw's already filled up in oil. We're going to mount the saw. We'll get her fired up. We'll make a top cut. We'll get that slab off, and I'll show you what we ended up with. This is a Forester bar at 56 inches. I've been using it for a long. It's the only 56 I've ever owned, and it has worked flawlessly. I do have an auxiliary oiler on here that I made. Once I get it somewhat in the middle of the brackets, like that, up against my dogs, and I can start tightening it down. Before I tighten the other side, I will shim up the middle of the bar. I want the bar to bow up a little bit. I always loosen these 13 turns, 13 little quarters. I just did 12 on each. I'm just going to snug them. So when I undo this, because you can only go a little bit of range of motion, I do 13 quarters to take it out. Right now, this side's good. This side's not quite centered. I'm just going to push it over just a hair. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It should start to come snug. 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16. So this one seems to be snugging a little bit different. I'm going to back off this side just a hair. I just want them to be even. All right. So we're all in place. I'm going to just check my oil. Loosen up my breather on the top so I can get this top thing off. Make sure I get oil in my auxiliary oiler. There's a little bit in there. Put a little more. So it's probably enough to make this cut. You don't want a lot in there because you'll spill it when you set the saw on the side, and you'll set it on the side a lot. All right, so we're ready to make a cut. We're 8 inches, we're tight, we're tight. This saw has not been fired up. Make sure that my caps are tight. We've got a full tank of fuel. That's tight. That's tight. Sometimes, like I said, I do like to shim this bar, but it feels like it centered itself pretty well. It hasn't been sagging. If you have a problem with your bar sagging on a long setup like this, just put a block under here when you tighten it down. But this one has pretty much found its way right in the middle. I am going to pause you guys again, get it fired up because it hasn't been started. Get ready to go, and then I'll turn you guys on when I make the cut, and then we'll take the top off it, and I'll show you the slab, and we'll be done for now. So for now, I'm going to pause you. All right, saw's warming up. I'm going to make this cut. When I get in about 2 feet or so into the cut, I will turn the auxiliary oiler on. We'll rip the rest out. I assume this cut's going to take about 6 minutes. You'll get to see the outfeed side of the chips coming out. And then we'll take it apart. We'll take the slab off and see what we got. I've got to get out around this tip. That's about pretty much full length on the setup right now. I'm about 2 inches short of 48. Turn my oiler on right now. I'll bring you over and I'll show you how close to 48 inches we are. I'll start it back up when we get over there so the sound's not messing with us. So I'll show you how wide we are right now. So if you can see how much tip is sticking out right there. So we're about 45 on a maxed out 48. So we'll fire up. We'll finish this cut. I got the auxiliary oil flowing. You got a good view. Right now we're at 30 minutes on this video, so we'll see how long this cut takes. Let me make sure that you can be able to see my head. Yeah, you will. Okay, we'll fire up and we'll finish this cut. I always want to keep the tip even or a little ahead of me so that this doesn't pull in real bad. Shim up this end. And now pretty much mill to the end. Try not to put too much down pressure so I can flex the ladder. shim this end so it doesn't drop off. And then just push it up again. All right, I'm going to go set the saw down and then we'll take it off. Shut off my oil flow so nothing leaks out. I'll check the time on this and then we'll take this apart and we'll see what kind of slab we got. See how long that took. Yeah, 650 right now. So let's take this apart. I'll take my earmuffs off here. Take this apart, get this slab off. This one should only take a second. First, we'll start with the clamps. And I had to use a long screw on this one. I'll take it out after to get it clamped into the cross piece. It was sticking off. Pull the clamps out. Don't lose any of your screws. If you want to keep your screws for a long time like I do, then don't strip them. I'm going to switch bits. Put our screws down somewhere where they can't get lost. Switch bits. Pull the other screws out. This one's holding a clamp. Take our this off. Take the other side off. We'll pull the ladder off and we'll push the slab off and we'll see how it cut. Felt like a pretty good pass. Then from here on out, the saw is going to ride on the flat spot. I know when I say it's going to be a 6-minute pass. You say, how do you know it's going to be a 6-minute pass? I know from doing this a lot what it's going to. Oh, forgot a couple. I just can tell from doing this a lot about how long it's going to take. I hear people, on the forum saying, "Oh, this cut took me 45 minutes and 3 tanks of gas." That's absurd. That means either you're not sharp or you're running some way underpowered saw. I don't even know. I mean, if a cut takes me more than 1 tank of gas, that is a monster beast of a cut. That's all I can say about it. Let me get this ladder out of the way. Sorry, guys. And let's see. Yeah, you're still watching. We'll take the slab off the top. I'll get it set over here. Oh. I'll flip it over so the other slabs can go on it. Nice. We'll scrape this thing off. I'll get my shims back in my pack. Wow. It's absolutely beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. What a beauty. These are going to be awesome slabs for my slab guy, Thatcher Smith. So I'll stick these back in my pack. And I think I'm going to be done for today, but give you guys a look at this slab, or this piece of wood now. So you can see, I don't know if you can see how smooth it cut. I can see a few saw lines. That's not unheard of with a 56. I mean, not much though. It's a beautiful piece. This is going to be awesome crotch figure down here. Again, I'll zoom in so you can see what the finish looks like. I can see one little spot right here where there's some sort of line. Maybe when I stopped and I was talking to you guys, there was a little chatter right here. That's what chatter looks like. Teeny little bit though. And because I did the winding sticks, this thing is going to be ridiculous flat. I can't really see through the viewfinder with my polarized glasses, but this thing is going to be ridiculously flat, ridiculously smooth, even with, you know, all the changes in width and the knots and everything else. This is beautiful. So that's what it looks like. You can see this piece here. You can see those chatter marks right there. Few, but in the middle where the ladder was unsupported, it cut wicked smooth. Beautiful grain out at the end. Nice and smooth. Look at some little bit of blue staining over there. Absolutely gorgeous. This is these are going to be beautiful slabs. So I'll probably mill these at 2.5 inches thick. For Thatcher. See how wide it is there? It's like 46 wide on the end here. And it narrows down in the middle a little bit, but not that bad. And then down the other end, you can see it gets pretty fat. That end had to be trimmed too. So it does get pretty fat. These are going to be nice, big, wide, gorgeous slabs. A little bit of blue staining in the outside. Gorgeous grain. So gorgeous grain down the other end if I get the light right. It's only going to get better as we go when we get out of this flat sawn grain in the top. So you get you set up, and over here, I'll just shoot the shit for a second. For those of you who only wanted to see milling, wouldn't be a bad place to sign off. Get a little bit into the technical side here. So I'm running a clone saw that I build. It's a Steel 066 platform. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Pharmatech saws. I actually have 5 of them. 5 mil saws. I keep a different bar on every one. So I have one with a 36. You saw that in the other video where I trimmed that chunk off that log. If you don't see that, then you didn't watch the video from earlier. And I keep one with a 42 and one with a 25, and then just another power head. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. That's how I do it every time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13. And that just makes it so that the bar slides right out and doesn't get caught. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then this should just slide right out of here, unless I hit a tooth on it. I'll show you how much gas I used in that 6-minute cut. I love it when people say, oh my God, I did a cut and I took 3 tanks of gas. So if you look at my tank right now, you can see it's basically half full. So I used just maybe a smidge more than half a tank on that cut. And you know, that's not a small cut, fairly big cut. It's just under 12 feet long, just under 12. And if I had to give you a width on let's take a width on the narrow part, even though this is going to be the narrowest cut that I make. So on the narrow part right here, it's 21.5 at its narrowest point. And then at its widest point, so it's 43 at its widest point. Yeah, well, 43 and a half. That's widest point. So it's not a small cut by any means. And I only used half a tank, 6 minutes end to end. I should, because I pulled the bark off this log, should be able to mill. I should be able to make at least 4 more cuts before I have to think about sharpening. It's going to be pretty clean because I debarked it. That chain is cutting ridiculous right now. Like I said, it was just self-feeding itself. I will take the slabs off and put them on top of that half-round slab cut right there, set them off to the side with the Bobcat, and then take these slabs to Thatcher whenever he's available. I will do the rest of this tomorrow. I wanted to get a flat spot on it today just to burn up some time because I was sitting around and I said, 3:30 is a little too early to quit. Obviously, you can't mill this on the sawmill, but it's 6. This is probably, as the chain gets dull, it's going to go out to like 8 minutes a pass. So it'll take 2 minutes longer ish. And I will start to get, as the chain gets duller, say maybe three more cuts in, maybe 4 cuts in at 2.5 thick. As the chain gets more dull, I will start to get closer to a full tank of fuel, but I will never run out in this cut. I will be able to make a pass on what I have in the saw. I almost could make 2 right now when it's sharp. Almost. I could probably have run that saw, pushed it out, taken this off, and made 1 more cut and probably made it. It would be really close, but I probably could make 2 cuts in this big log on 1 tank of fuel. It would be really, really close. But that's, I think I'm going to title this Chainsaw Milling 101, even though this is not 101. This is way above 101 because if you're just getting into chainsaw milling, you're not milling anything like this. But the principles are the same. Set up, don't rock the saw, let the saw feed, sharp chain. Doesn't matter whether it's a 56 or a 36 or a 28. The principles are all the same. And it's the same all the way through. As soon as I feel like I have to push on the saw, I'm going to sharpen. That's pretty much it. I'll show you when I'm talking about gauge blocks. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So get you looking down at my bag here. So this is my milling bag. So what I mean about gauge blocks, if you look in here, I have boards that this will say 8/4 on it. This one's 9/4. This one's 12/4. I have cut these on the table saw and made a matched pair. So here's 12/4 and a matched pair. And when I set up the saw, what I do is the saw will be in. Sorry, I took it out because now it kind of sucks. But the saw is going to be laying in the mill like this. I set these on top of an up tooth on both sides, on both ends, on top of an up tooth. And then I drop the mill down on top of the gauge blocks, and it sets me perfect height for whatever these gauge blocks are. So I don't have to read the scale. So it sets me perfect height on both sides, and whatever that is. So in this case, I'll probably mill these at 2.5. So that'll be 10/4. I know I have 10/4 in there. So I will set it at 10/4, just mill slabs. This probably, if you look at that far end down there, so you're 5 inches plus 3/8 a cut. So basically almost 6 inches per. This is 4 cuts right here to the bottom of this thing. So this is going to be 4 cuts to right here. And that's going to get me almost out of the log. I probably could do maybe 1 more. So it's probably only going to be 4 cuts. I should be able to do this all on that chain without sharpening. And then the bottom of this log, because it tapers in so much, is going to be this big fat chunk. I'll probably use it for an outside table here in the yard. Set it over, I don't know if you can see, I'll probably set it over in front of my chairs over there. You can see over all the stuff that grew up while I was gone. See all the chairs around the fire pit. I'll probably take that bottom chunk right there where that big foot is, and leave it, maybe, I don't know, it's going to end up being something like maybe 12 inches thick. I'll probably just set it on the ground over there in front of my chairs and just use it as a table. But you can see how much this log tapers off in the bottom. So you're going to have like 4 cuts. I'll squeeze 5 out of it, maybe 6, and then leave that big foot section there as a table over there in front of my chair. So that's pretty much it. Uh, I know that chainsaw milling is a little bit of an enigma. If you don't build saws, you can buy these saws. Oh shit! Took those all the way out of my nuts. It sounded weird, didn't it? All the way out of my nuts. Um, you can buy these saws. You don't have to build them like I do. I build them and I replace a shit pile of parts on them so that they are reliable. These saws have been only milling wood for 8 or 9 years now. I've only really worn out one top end in 8 or 9 years out of my 5 saws. And they get rotated pretty well. The majority of the time you mill them with a 36. This 56 doesn't get a lot of run. Typically I'm not milling something this big. But and don't get me wrong, these saws are 56 millimeters, so almost 100 cc's, 99 cc's. They're ported. They're port timed, port matched through the muffler, triple port on the muffler. A bunch of parts that I replace. I run a big Walbro carb on them. So these saws probably cost me around $500 to build. Cable rings, steel decom, Sawdust starts, a steel chain adjuster, yeah, a bunch of other things. But the steel gasket sets, stuff like that. I use a lot of steel parts when I build these in the beginning and don't use the Farmertech parts, and they are ridiculously reliable. One of the best starting saws I have ever run. They start first pull every time when they're warm, unless it sits for a half hour. It's one pull start all day. I could mill that slab, come over, fill up, go back, one pull start, mill a slab, come over, fill up, go back, one pull start, mill a slab, and I could mill that entire log really in probably 45 minutes total, total with fill ups and pulling the slabs off and everything. I could mill that whole thing at 2.5 inches in about 45 minutes. So they're crazy. They'll sit around for 2 years and come out and fire right up. I run Red Armor from Nick's, and if you want to ask me questions about that stuff, then go right ahead. But the only thing I'll tell you is do not run premix and do not run steel mix. It's the only thing I'll tell you. If you want to know why, hit me up with a comment and I'll tell you. But the Red Armor is great. It's got some fuel additives in it. It never gunks up. It can sit 2 years and fire right up. The other stuff won't do that. The premix is really bad. You let something sit a month and it ain't gonna idle. You run steel mix and it will carbon up everything inside it. The Red Armor runs ridiculously clean. I'll run a saw for 4 years and pull the top end off it, and it's like it's brand new. So I'm going to get my shit put away, and I appreciate the watch. Thank you for hanging out. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm going to mill the rest of this log tomorrow if it doesn't pour. Looks like I got some weather coming in here now. It's starting to get dark on the over to the west there. So I got kind of fair clouds here, and then you see how dark it is getting on the horizon. So we might have some weather coming in here. So I want to start getting my crap put away and still continue testing these mechanics gloves, and we'll see how long they go before I start getting holes in them, so I can give feedback to mechanics. So Rip chains, that's full comp, just so you know. That's not skip, guys. This is full comp rip chain, filed at 10 degrees, hand filed at 10 degrees. This is not skip chain. So I'm running full comp. I'm running full comp chain on a 56, and you saw how it cut. So for now, thank you. Hit me up. Any questions? Like, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you do. Chainsaw 101, even though this is a big ass bar and a big ass log. And for now, Power Solutions out.